Hello, my name is Susan Kustka, the Superintendent of Holliston Public Schools. Today, I'm launching a new segment called Holliston Hallway Highlights to highlight some key initiatives and work that is taking place in the Holliston Public Schools. My guests today are Dr. David Jordan, Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations, and Matthew Robshaw, Director of Maintenance. Hello, Dr. Jordan. Could you please share some of your background and what led you to this job at HPS?
No, thank you. Yeah, I've actually been in the district for 12 years, about to start my 13th year at the end of this. Started in Holliston back in 2013, I think, as assistant principal of the middle school. From there, I'd moved from North Carolina. I was down there. My wife was in grad school in North Carolina. We were in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, beautiful area. Moved up here. My wife took a job up here. I was assistant principal at the middle school here in Holliston. From there, I was in that role for about 4 years, and then moved on to principal of the middle school until recently, this past year, moved into the role of assistant superintendent in finance and operations after kind of a long-standing person we've had in the position, Keith Boudet, retired. But excited to kind of take over his role and put my own spin on it.
You've certainly been with us in here at Holliston a long time, for sure. And Mr. Robshaw, could you also share some of your background and how you led to this position at HPS?
Sure. So, my background, is mechanically inclined background. So, I've always maintained, whether it was like cars, trucks, tree health, tree equipment. So, I've always been driven to keep things running successfully and smoothly, to the highest care. I've been in this position for 5 months now, and I really enjoy it. What led me to this position, a lot through my father, John Robshaw. He was a maintenance tech here for 31 years. Gave me a lot of time and knowledge to lead me where I am today, and so.
Well, we're glad to have both of you in the positions that you're in.
Thank you.
Could you talk a little bit about the operational structure of your department?
Yeah, so we, as Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations, one of the departments that I oversee is facilities, maintenance facilities, so the care of our buildings and our grounds. With that, right under me is Matt Robshaw, who serves as the Director of Maintenance, and I'll give him a chance to kind of introduce kind of the pyramid of guys that exist at each of our buildings and some of the roles that they do.
Yeah, so right now we have 5 maintenance techs throughout the school, starting with Jim Shepard. He's our master electrician, brings 17 years of experience here. And he's the floater of the group, so he bounces school to school and, helps whoever needs help with anything, projects. Next we have Steve O'Connor. He's the maintenance tech at the high school. He brings a lot of knowledge, many years in public schools, Massachusetts. He's got plumbing experience, so that's always an addition. Next we have Sean Keast. He's our maintenance tech at Adams. Brings many skills, carpentry skills, will to accomplish anything you throw at him. And then Dratan Ropey, he's our newest tech for Platantino Miller. Highly skilled, always willing to accomplish anything. And then we have Justin Monty, he's our night facility supervisor. He overlooks at what the night duties, makes sure everything's okay for opening up the next day, and brings a ton of knowledge working in schools as well.
Yeah, so a lot of the new changes have really made the team solidified.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys. I'm really excited. I think Matt having I knew his father as well, and just kind of being able to bring that history, not just culturally, but also physical knowledge of the equipment that we have. We have some aging buildings, and we'll expand upon some of the projects that we're getting into. But it's nice to kind of have the team, some of the historical knowledge we have, some of the veterans in Jim Shepard, but then also some of the new guys in Sean Keast. I feel like it's been a pretty dynamic team, and I feel like it's a good group. We were just talking earlier before coming in here how they're going to kind of fill in for each other. There's somebody who's not able to cover one of the night pieces, so then somebody else is going to kind of fill in for that. So it's a good team. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the current key projects that you're doing together to help improve HPS?
Yeah, so which some may or may not be aware of that, based on whether they've been watching some school committee meetings, is the state of Massachusetts has the MSBA, Massachusetts School Building Authority. We're able to submit applications for accelerated repairs based off of some aging buildings. We're also able to submit what's called core programs too, if there's an entire building that's in failure as well. So currently we've submitted applications for kind of a funding share, cost share on our middle school roof, on our Placentino and Miller combined roof as well, and then a core program application for a new high school. Granted, that's something that, as Dr. Kustka, you're aware, that's something year over year we've been really trying hard to replace, and I think that there's a lot of support in this community for seeking that, and we're doing our best to do that. We are excited about our roof project at the middle school. This past fall, the town did approve $1.25 million in capital to go towards the middle school roof. We have kind of been out to bid. We have those back. We have the scope of the work ready to go. We believe, although we've got town meeting here next week on the 7th, that we've got potentially on that the remaining amount on the capital to kind of finalize that project. So that project will start this summer. Additionally, at the middle school, and this is again thank you to the FinCom and the Select Board, had approved several years ago a capital amount to be in a kind of an emergency fund for some of our failing rooftop HVAC units. We're all of our HVAC in our buildings is pretty much the age of the buildings, and our buildings are not young. So it was decided to kind of put aside some funding for an emergency, knowing that over the next couple of years, 5 years, 10 years, we're going to start to see failures in our HVAC units. So that money came in a timely fashion. We did have critical failure of the HVAC unit, rooftop unit above the auditorium at the middle school, and we made that. We're able to make that purchase and that installation. So we're grateful to the town for being able to provide that. We were able to move swiftly on that. Additionally, this year we had kind of a power surge due to kind of a lightning strike storm that we had in the fall. That we started to see failures and alarms going off in our fire alarm system at the middle school, and some kind of things registering at the Placentino Miller campus as well. The lightning strike did end up kind of affecting our Woodland campus, which serves both schools. The first to kind of hit that kind of critical failure was the middle school, and we had kind of reached out to the community to kind of let them know some of the stuff that we needed to do. Luckily, despite some of the kind of the bigger price tag on that, insurance was able to kind of cover the middle school fire alarm project, which is great. And then we were able to also discover and do some troubleshooting to realize that we were having the similar result of the lightning strike, some issues we were having at the Miller Placentino school as well. So doing some of those projects as well. You want to expand on some of the other projects?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing all the security alarms throughout the district, all the schools. Adams, we're replacing the gym wall that divides the two, divides it in half. So we're going out with the old and with the new, more modern, more safe in there. The high school, the auditorium wall got completed, and no leaks anywhere there, so that's always great. The high school tracks could be done in July, resurfacing of that. So
that'll be nice for our students.
Yeah, good things coming.
Sure. So Matt, I know you've only been here a number of months in this role, but you've dived right in for sure. So could you talk about some of the priority needs that you see? As you mentioned, Dr. Jordan, we have some aging facilities. So what are some of the priority needs you see coming up in future years?
Yeah, I definitely, with all our assets being, definitely old, like boilers, you're talking exhaust fans, all the heating units. I think a lot of updating is definitely needed.
I mean, even if you think about kind of like our capital projects that we're putting forth. I mean, so one of the capital projects that we're seeking, while won't address many doors, we do have a $75,000 capital request to the town for some of our critical doors. Especially as we use kind of salt and different things through the winter, we really kind of rust out the bottom of our exterior doors. And some of our doors, I mean, all of our doors are pretty much 25 years or more in age, and some of them are far beyond that age. And we've never really done any type of major maintenance on some of those doors. So that's a critical need. I think Matt was kind of being a bit modest on some things, but there's some things I've noticed in the last 5 months that are kind of priority needs for us that we've been able to really tackle. Has been how we track our assets as well. So James Kustka, who is the director of facilities for the town, was able to bring in Asset Essentials, formerly School Dude, as a tool. And Matt and kind of his team, I've been really impressed with their skills and their diligence to do that, and that's been a great process we've been able to bring to the district. In doing that, while it seems like a simple tracking mechanism, we were able to stay on top of our routine maintenance of our equipment. We have aging equipment, and really the most critical piece versus replacing it is seeing what continued life you can get out of that equipment. And Asset Essentials allows us to put some standard operating procedures, allows us to kind of really kind of in the moment track what we need to do, and we're doing what we can to kind of keep some of this equipment moving along. So
for sure.
That's what we talked about before is aging facilities, really trying to submit those types of applications and seeing what we can do to kind of continue to build out what we have.
Yeah, and I think what's really nice to hear about him, which I'm aware of, is that because we have some skilled people in these positions, like Jim with his electrical license, we're able to do that at much cheaper costs as well and save the district a ton of money, which is great. So you talked a little bit about some of the modernizing of equipment. What would you see as some of the initiatives, like some innovative things that you'd like to be working on to create some energy efficiencies and maybe also improve security? I know we've talked a little bit about that. Obviously the doors. Most recently, in the last couple of years, we put in new camera systems to be able to have interior cameras as well as exterior, and we put in a fob system. So those are great enhancements. But I know you're still working on some more ideas as well.
Yeah. So. With the potential new roofs and the roof add-ons, we would definitely look into the solar panels, because that's efficiency, and maybe we can expand more of the key fobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all good stuff.
Well, yeah, I think with the roof, the pause that we've had in the past as far as moving to solar on, 'cause the negative side of flat roofs is they leak with age, but the positive to having the roof that we have once we put a new roof on is it's prime real estate for solar. Again, Matt has, and in collaboration with James Kustka, have done some energy efficiency and work, and have had some different solar layout work done as far as the new roofs. The critical factor has been get a new roof before you start putting something on top of it. So
not good to add to any roofs, right?
Well, you don't want to put solar panels on top of an old roof to then have to pull the solar panels off to put a new roof on there. So that's kind of an innovative piece for us, is seeing if we can kind of really reduce our footprint. I think as far as efficiency, the value of the high school MSBA core program, or even moving down a new high school route, is we're pretty energy inefficient. The high school in specific is a very energy inefficient building. I will not quote you what our utility cost is there, but it's not friendly. The part of that is that we're looking at single pane windows. We have a building from the 60s here. In the upgrade that we did not get kind of that upgraded, the windows, the double pane on that. We are, for the most part, a single floor spread out with courtyards. What that does is that's a lot of window space and a lot of energy leakage. It's pretty in some ways, but it's also energy inefficient. The other side is that our boilers are actually on the far corner of the building by the field house. That means the heat and the energy from the boiler needs to move all the way through the entire building to reach the outskirts, which is just not, buildings these days, usually boiler is either like under the building or centralized in some way so that it's as efficient to kind of get out to the extremities as possible.
Yeah, the building was designed for the 70s, right? Or,
Yeah.
So it's clearly inefficient, and it doesn't really meet the needs of today's students.
And Matt talked about our fobs, what we're doing, and really trying to expand kind of that keyless entry. That's from a safety point. I was here 12 years ago. We were using master keys and other keys, and I don't know if I should be saying this on camera, but there are a lot of people with keys in their hands, and you have to really collecting all those keys and making note of that. What's nice about the fob system is we've been able to kind of collect back pretty much all or the grand majority of our exterior keys for the security purposes of our building. Also kind of moving to a modern alarm system for us has been nice as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, pie in the sky, if money were not an issue. What do you think of some projects that you would like to be able to do that would really help address some opportunities for students and some great educational outcomes?
A new high school, obviously, money were an issue. That would be terrific. Just keep going with like realigning the HVAC system on the computers, and being able to control from the computer, all these assets, univents and the roof and stuff.
For sure.
We can always expand from there. Those kinks we're trying to work out. What else do we got? We got a lot of things.
I think I might add just the air conditioning.
Yes.
That's something with the heat index, and that's what actually I wrote in the SOI for the high school, the heat coming off of that second floor.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to remove students, and that the year is so long, but the heat's been really, really bad at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. So air conditioning costs millions of dollars, but in a new building, that's something we would want to have
absolutely,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, incrementally, we're having rising temperatures year over year, and it's what maybe once was cool enough that you could survive without the air conditioning. There's some, I've been in those buildings, and I worked at the middle school for over a decade, and it gets pretty hot in there.
Sure
I think.
does.
I mean, as far as what I'm looking forward to or hopeful for. Several years ago, we tore down the flag school that was next door to the middle school, which left a nice green space that's there, ripe for some opportunity to be something. And it's been nice. We've been able to kind of be in collaboration with Parks and Rec in the town to really envision what that space could be. I think that there's some great opportunities to kind of expand and the beautification of our campuses.
Yes.
And that space, for example, that's the middle school and the Woodland campus. That's right in the heart of downtown. And I've really appreciated what the select board, Tina Hines specifically, has been able to do with some of the rail trail work, some of our accessibility with our sidewalks. And I feel like it's a great vision to be able to tie our town together as best it can. We have a great rail trail, sidewalks, accessibility, centralized park locations for students to be able to access things. On the high school side, other than a new high school, is we're excited about the track project.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what that brings, but looking at the kind of the quality of our grounds and the opportunities that we want for our students, learning opportunities, outside spaces for them, are right in the mix.
Right.
Right, we have had some projects done by OLA, our Outdoor Learning Alliance, through our PTO, which has been wonderful on a smaller scale, but expanding and having some outside spaces that kids could work in, which I know is part of the flag project that they're considering.
Yeah, Dave Zach, who's one of the teachers at the middle school, I think his daughter is doing a project with the vernal pool area behind the middle school, behind the Woodland campus, and kind of making those more accessible trails as well. And I think that Holliston's a beautiful, beautiful community, and I think that that's when we think about Holliston being kind of this nuclear location where oftentimes you have to travel through towns to get to. I think we as a community should be doubling down on our strengths, which is really doubling down on kind of like the beautification of our community, the accessibility of our community, the type of folks and citizens that we have here. I think there's just so much potential.
For sure. Before we wrap up for today, is there anything else you'd like to share about your experiences in Holliston Public Schools?
Yeah, especially expanding our, my education. Right now, I'm going to school to get my MCPPO, which is Massachusetts Certified Public Purchasing Official. Try saying that 3 times fast. So that it's a lot of public procurement, very important. It's a lot of learning, which is great. Something I'm very interested in.
Well, we're a center for learning.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited about Matt's growth, what he's aiming to do, the relationships that he has been able to already set up with our director of facilities, which are with our DPW as well, with Parks and Rec. I think the future is bright, so we're excited.
Yeah, and I think I would just highlight to the fact that we are so interconnected and collaborative with the town, municipal side of the schools, and that's really been a benefit as well, that we have such a good collegial working relationship. It's really been a benefit to the schools for sure. Yeah. Well, so this is the end of our segment. For my first segment of I can't even say it now, Holliston Hallway Highlights. That's another tongue twister. Why did I put that? But I really do want to thank both of you, Dr. Jordan and Mr. Robshaw, for being my first guest today. And I'm sure I'll be inviting you back in the future, and maybe you'll be hosting one of these days too. So thank you again, thank you to HCAT. We really appreciate Bruce and his team for giving us this opportunity.